So in worked example 5, we want to find the unknown side lengths. So there's a clue there, side lengths of the following diagram, giving your final answer to 2 decimal places. So that means I'm looking for 2 sides. I'm going to be looking for this side that I don't know. Let's call this P. And I'm going to look at this side, which has no number on it. Let's call that Q. Now, I can choose, if I look at P, I can figure that out because I've got 2 side lengths. But if I look at Q, I've only got 1 side length at the moment. So perhaps if I find P first, then I can find Q. So let's focus on this triangle here. I would like to find P, but looking at that triangle, I might need to quickly label it. P would be the hypotenuse, so that's going to be my C. And I'll call this short side A, and I'll call this short side B. So we're getting pretty good at Pythagoras by now, so let's start off. We'll write our formula. C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Then substitute in from the diagram. I'll replace C with P. I'll replace A with 3. And I'll replace the B with the 7. Do it in my head or on my calculator. I will get P squared is equal to 3 squared is 9, plus 7 squared is 49. So 9 plus 49 is equal to 58. Now, in order to find P on its own, I'm going to have to square root everything. So I'm going to square root this, and I'm going to square root this, which leaves me with P equals the square root of 58. But since it wants me to find that length to 2 decimal places, I'll have to use my calculator. And it gives me 7.6157 blah, blah, blah. So to 2 decimal places, I focus on the 1. Just check it out on your own calculator there. And you'll notice that the number after 1 is a 5, which means I need to round up. So I'm going to round that to P is 7.62. We've got no units, to 2 decimal places. And that's fantastic. That's giving me the first side length, so I'll underline that. Next, we're going to focus on Q. I'll choose this colour. So I'm going to be looking at this triangle. Now, I don't really want to look at the old triangle anymore, so I'm going to rub out some of that so that I don't get myself confused. I'm going to rub out the yellow. I'll just quickly replace that P because I rubbed that out by mistake. Now, focusing on that kind of orangey triangle, I would label my sides. My Q is now my hypotenuse, and then my 2 short sides are here and here. Now, to give myself a little bit of space, I'm going to rub out this. And just for the sake of things, I'll write my P up the top here. P equaled the square root of 58, which when I calculated it to 2 decimal places was 7.62 to 2 decimal places. All right. Let's solve this one. So, as per usual, write the formula. C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Okay. Substitute in what you know. C will now be replaced with a Q. The A will be replaced by a 4. And the B is that P. Now, P equaled 7.62, but that was a rounded number. We'd much rather work with an exact number. So we're going to write it in third form. We're going to write P was equal to the square root of 58, but it was all of that, because it's B squared, squared. Now my next step, q squared equals 4 squared is 16 plus. Now this looks a little bit confusing. The square root of 58 squared. Now if you put that in your calculator, you might be surprised to find out that it just equals 58. (16 plus 58) is 68, 69, 70, 74. You can do it in your head. Now my final step, as per usual, is to square root. So square root this side, square root this side. Q squared square rooted gives me Q. The square root of 74, use your calculator, is 8.6023. So I'm going to take the first two decimal places, 8.60. Look at the next one, which is a 2. That doesn't round me down, round me up, so I'll keep it 8.6022 decimal places. And that's the end of that, so I'll underline my answer. To show you that I've finished.